Hey guys, Jay at Broader Performance here. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this series up. Tiffany, our president there, said, "Man, these are kind of boring and people just don't know what you're talking about. And I don't even know that you have a point." Well, I do have a point, and I guess the problem is I've been doing this a long time, and I study this stuff. I study the circuits. I try to understand the circuits. I do some valve body designs. I kind of do my own modifications to them. I don't buy a lot of these kits and things anymore. I like to do my own thing, and I can do my own thing because I study them like this. And I'm just kind of sharing this with you, and yeah, it probably is pretty boring to most people. Most people are like, man, I just want to put it together and it work, and throw it in my car, or whatever, make money with it. I don't really care. I like to buy valve body kits because I just want to throw it in and not make a career out of every unit. And I understand that, especially if you're a shop and there's hundreds of different transmissions out there, and you can't fully understand all of them. It's just impossible. I only build a half a dozen units here, but I specialize in them, and to me, if I don't understand these circuits, I can't really call myself a specialist. So anything that I build, I really try to fully understand it, and I'm just trying to share this with you. I don't know, maybe I'm just, hoping to share some knowledge with somebody. I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of shops and things, and a lot of these guys, they don't care about any of this. They're just like, yeah, whatever, Jay, just what do I got to do to make it work? I don't really care. That's all well and good that you like to look at gauges and play games, but I don't have time. I just want this to go to the customer and work. Yeah, I get all that, and I know I haven't really shown you how I fixed it here, but there's an expression that I like to use, and it's an old one. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him to fish, you feed him for life. And I believe in this, and I'm trying to show you here. I'm trying to show you what the problem is, and you can go about your own way of fixing it. And it's not that hard. It's just, I think the hard part is just knowing what's going on, and I'm showing you the difficult stuff here. I really am. I am sharing this with you, and so I'm going to show you here. Even in the last video, we were playing with the solenoid pressure and things, and solenoid pressure gauge is still varying too much, and I've done a little bit more tweaking on this, and it's been running pretty well now, and I'm pretty happy with this at this point. And I just want to show you that. I want to show you the circuit working solid. And I know we were, last one we were playing games with it, and I had this little adjuster piece and things on there that we were messing around with, and to me that's fun. That's probably pretty sad, but that's my kind of fun, at least in the shop, so I apologize if this is boring. I'm going to wrap this up here, and we'll move on to other things, and things that are more interesting, and we'll work on cars and things like that, the real fun stuff that people like. So okay, on this one here, I'm going to run this one more time. But first I'm going to tell you a couple things I did off camera, because this thing is so noisy, and Tiffany's, she doesn't even want to watch these videos. She's like, man, that noise is horrible. People don't want to listen to that. They're shutting this off as soon as they hear that whining noise, and you're babbling on, and nobody wants to hear this. Well, okay, yeah, you're probably right. She's always right. So anyways, so here's what I learned. So we were kind of playing with the pressures a bit. So what we learned is if the solenoid pressure, it seems to tolerate 60 somewhat, but if it goes over 60, 62, 61, 65, whatever it is exactly, yeah, that's when we start losing oil at the forward clutch here, like we saw in the last video or two. And that's a big problem. So your solenoid pressure, we got to be below 60. Okay, so we learned that. The other thing I did, what I did off camera, so you guys don't have to listen to this thing going on forever and me going on forever. What I learned is at 30 psi, we can no longer get fourth gear. So if we're 30 and below, it'll go 1, 2, 3, but it won't go into fourth. It just does not have enough oil pressure to drive the 3/4 shift valve. So 30's the absolute, well, 30's a problem. So I guess I would say at 35 would be the absolute lowest this can go, and we still have fourth gear. So I learned that. That piece of information there I didn't actually know before. So I'm happy to know that. Because basically what I've been wanting to do with this is I don't want to be skating on that thin red line. I don't want this pressure, like I told you, 56 is about, 56, 58 is about what I think the factory was going for from the information I have. But that's a little close to 60, and if you get some variation and, you can see how that regulator likes to vary and do some goofy things. So if you're running 56, 58, it's really easy to pop over 60 momentarily and can cause you a problem with the neutral dropping or dropping out of third and things like that. So we definitely want to stay away from 60. We've learned that, and that's important information there. Valuable information. And so, the thing, well, just lower it. Yep. And lowering it, that's definitely in order, but how low can we go without being a problem? So I would say, run this between 40 to 55. I think that's a pretty safe range. And that's what you got to shoot for. And I know that, most of you guys are not going to know what your pressure really is. But you kind of do now, because you can see by the unit, if you're in your forward port and you can see that you're not getting fourth, say, for example, your solenoid pressure is 30 or less. If you're having a problem with it, either losing pressure in forward or losing all the pressure where the unit just neutrals out, you're 60 and above. So you kind of know, based on that, without actually having to look here, what your pressure is. And that's very important information. So if you're testing a unit and you see forward starting to drop out on you, well, okay, yeah, we got 60 or more, so we got to fix that. And, if you go too far with this, you created the other issue where it won't go into fourth gear anymore. I got that pressure pretty low. I think I went down as much as 25, and it still shifted 1, 2, 3. It was just fourth that we lost. I mean, if we lose more pressure in the solenoid, we're not even going to get first or third gear. Second gear we'll have, because that's what you call fail-safe mode. So if there's no electricity to the solenoids, or we have really bad solenoid pressure, we're always going to have second gear. That's kind of rest position of the circuits. So that's good information there, whether you know it or not. And I think that's going to help you. Now I'm going to run this real quick. And I'm just going to kind of show you the solenoid gauge. It's much more steady now. I'm really liking that. And this valve body here is, in my opinion, probably going to be great, but still going to be tested on the transmission dyno with heat and everything, just to double, triple check here. And so far, this may end up to a customer. It's starting to look that good. So let's run this real quick here. I just want to show you that solenoid gauge. I won't torture you with this noise too much, and we'll wrap this series up. So here we go. So I'm just going to flick it a little bit. Okay, so let's look at solenoid. I'm in first, second, third, fourth. Third, second, first, second, third, fourth. Look at how nice and steady that is now. And I'm toggling between second and third. I'm going to toggle between first and second here, and then here's fourth. Back down to second, fourth, second. I think you get the idea. But see how much more steady that pressure regulator is on the solenoid side now. I'm real happy with that. That's what I want to see. And that's basically what I look for before I move this valve body over to the actual transmission. So I wanted to let you know that there. And there's a lot of other things I could show you on this unit. And I don't know that anybody really wants to see all this stuff, but if you do, if you like this series and you want me to go further and examine other circuits and things with you on it, if you're a geek like me, put it in the comments, because otherwise I'm gonna end this here until I have something else to show you on these. This is kind of the complaint of the unit. Is this neutral drop thing and, burnt up forward clutch and this and that. This is the main issue with it. And as these get older, we're going to start seeing other things like we always do. All these transmissions, as they get older, things wear and bores wear and things like that. And you start seeing more issues, and then you have to find ways to fix them. And it's just a never-ending process. You'll really get a unit down solid, and you'll build them that way for 5 years, and everything's great. And then all of a sudden, man, we're having this other weird issue with these now. That's weird. What's changed? What are we doing different? Well, you're probably not doing anything different. It could be just that you're just seeing wear. These things get older and more miles on them, more corrosion in them. Things like that, and other things start to crop up on them. But I will say this, and I got to kind of be careful what I say sometimes, but, this solenoid regulator valve, it's known for sticking. There's a lot of fixes for it on the market. And I want you to know that there is no fixing here. There is no valve body kit, shift kit, anything like that in here. This is all stock components. I've made a little bit of change to them, but for the most part, everything is stock. And, one of the things I see a lot of people selling is these Teflon coated valves. And I've mentioned this before, that to me, it doesn't make any sense. You have a valve that's just covered in oil. It's, slickness is not the issue. Putting a Teflon coat on it, in my opinion and in my experience, does not help. I've tried them. I've seen a lot of units come in with that Teflon coated valve in here, and it's still stuck with debris like you see everything else. So this unit here has their aluminum valves, and they have a coating on them already. It's a hard, kind of slick coating on them. If you're familiar with these, you know this. There may be a steel valve or two in some of them, depending on the year model, but for the most part, they're aluminum valves. And to go back and spend the money and put another aluminum valve in with another coating on it, it makes no sense. If you're going to replace valves in this unit, good old-fashioned steel. To me, that works best. So if you do want to replace a valve in it, whether it's solenoid regulator or main pressure regulator, not sure what other valves they may even sell steel, but no matter what unit you're working on, in my opinion, go back to steel. And if you're one of these guys that sell these things, please make them out of steel. Don't try to be fancy with these nonsense coatings and flim-flam and things that sound sexy and don't work. I try to stay away from that. You know, my pledge to you people as customers, I don't design stuff because I think people will buy it. I design stuff because I think people need it. And there's enough stuff that you need where we don't have to be deceptive and sell you a bunch of crap. Hey, let's tell people that this valve wears, or this sticks, or that sticks, or a lot of this stuff is, to me, just made up. You know, they tell you, oh, the bore wears, you got to buy this tooling and repair this valve body, and you should do it to all of them. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I think a lot of times I see a lot of these things and I say to myself, man, of the hundreds I've done, I've never seen that to be a problem. I know they sell a fix for it, but just not ever having a problem with that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's my ignorance. I don't know, but I do think there's a lot of things people give you or sell you that they don't give them to you, they sell them to you. That they sell to you that they're just thinking, okay, you know, what are we going to do to stay in business and come out with new products? I think a lot of your valve body kits, you know, especially things where your goal is to just make it shift more firm and things like that, you probably need 2 or 3 things and you get 10. Well, why are they doing that? My opinion, if you saw how simple some of this stuff really was to achieve the goal, there's nothing to sell you. It's almost like when the doctor sells you pills to lower your cholesterol and, blood pressure and things like that, he doesn't tell you, well, go home and change your diet and get some exercise and you don't need any pills. Maybe some of them do. There's a few honest ones out there, but for the most part, they don't tell you that you can do this yourself with no medication. They tell you, nope, you got to buy medication and you got to see me regularly to keep this monitored. So, sorry, I'm not trying to play doctor, and please don't take medical advice from me. I'm not even sure you should take transmission advice from me, but I'm just trying to give you an example here, and so just be mindful of what you're purchasing from whoever, and there's a lot of good products on the market. I'm not saying everything's bad. Some of these fixes are nothing less than a godsend, they're just life-saving and time-saving, just really make your life wonderful, but a lot of it just kind of drains your bank account. It doesn't really do much for you. So you have to learn how to pick and choose, and of course, if you're just going to just build one unit, you're never going to really have an opportunity to figure that out. But if you're a guy that does this for a living, you kind of have to. You have to watch your spending in your shop, and nowadays it's a challenge to keep your prices somewhat reasonable where customers still can afford these products. It's just, inflation is really hitting us in all areas of life, and if you can. Here we try to say, okay, our first instinct isn't to, well, got to raise the price. Well, we make decisions, we say, well, maybe we can buy more quantity and get a better deal. Maybe we can make it in-house. Maybe some of these things we don't need. So we kind of look at other avenues of keeping the price low or the same, or however you want to phrase it. We look at other things first rather than just, oh, is it January 1st already? Did you add 10% to all the prices? Yeah, we don't do that. We try not to, we do the best we can. We got to stay in business, of course, and we've got price increases that happen and probably some more to come, unfortunately, but just want you to know we really do try hard to not just keep bumping up all the time. So try to give you more for your money, and I like to think you get more upgrades here for your money than you do at a lot of other places. I'm sure we're not the best in the world, but I think we're far from the worst out there either. So but it's with a lot of effort, and Tiffany, who really is she's kind of in charge of everything here, and I'm in charge of the shop, but Tiffany's very conscientious and really tries to do a good job behind the scenes, and I do the best that I can as well, and I think we make a good team. We're on the same page usually, so, and she's not going to agree with me being 21 minutes into this video rambling on. Nobody's going to watch this. Well, you're probably right, so I guess I can say whatever I want. Nobody's listening, so that's okay. Okay, guys, well, I hope that this helped you and was somewhat informative, and if there's other things on this unit or any unit that you would like to see me address, or maybe you agree with Tiffany that this 4R70W series just really maybe just kind of went over everybody's head and nobody's really paying attention to it and end it. That's okay. You can put that in there. Yeah, we've heard enough on this, and thanks for playing and that sort of thing. But or maybe maybe you liked it. Maybe you really appreciated it. You'd never really seen anybody dig into something like this and try to explain it to you. Maybe some of you guys appreciate that. I don't know, and we're doing these videos to, I guess, primarily to promote the business, of course, but for me personally, I like these videos because I have things I can, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I don't know what it's been, 25 years or something. And you repeat yourself every day, sometimes multiple times. You get the same questions a lot, and I get tired of it. I appreciate the questions, and I don't fault anybody for asking them. And it's nothing like that. It's just sometimes you get sick of the sound of your own voice, and it's kind of nice. I can address all these issues and just do a video on all the popular questions that I can think of or that people suggest. And I've just got an arsenal of things that people, they can watch these videos and over and over again if they need to until they understand it. So that's really why it's there. It just kind of, as I keep saying, we're short-handed, and I don't really get on the phone anymore. It's just too overwhelming, and I apologize for that, but it's just kind of the way it has to be now. And I do respond to emails as quickly as I can, and I think I do pretty good on responding to emails, but on a lot of this stuff, a visual explanation of things, you can't beat it. I can't do that over the phone or on the email. I can email you links to videos and things, or refer to these things, and I think it's going to be very helpful to people. Maybe this particular 4R70W series isn't that way, but I just kind of wanted to share with you my process and what I do behind the scenes, and I want you to know that I'm really digging in and trying to learn these units. Don't think that I'm uneducated on what we sell. I don't want you to think that, and I've got more to learn, I'm sure, and I try every day to learn something. It's a never-ending process. But anyways, I think you get the message. I'm going to end this here. I've gone on too long as usual. And I'm sorry, Tiffany. But okay. Hopefully you'll watch another video, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks a lot.